Yes, I am so happy today is Tuesday. I'm glad to be here as well as trying to make it do what it do. Feelings. That's when we talk about our emotions. You know, there's one thing that we have to know is that our inner self is always positive. When we're a child, things just happen. We don't worry about anything. We always look for the good in people. So when we grow older, we look at these relationships, having a relationship with someone, trying to figure out, which part of your feelings are you in, you know? What are you doing? What are you bringing to the relationship? What are you taking out? How are you trying to change my inner self, which is positive at all times? Um, and it within our inner self, the inner self is hard to change. Remember that the inner self is hard to change. You can change your personality, but the inner self is always positive. So your inner self is always fighting with your personality on the outside, what people say you should be, what people say you should do, how people say you should act. Hmm. Relationships are very important. In relationships, we want to have the genuine person. We want that person with the inner self, which is always positive. And the positive is what we are born with. And what you're born with, no one can take it away. You could cover it up with shoulda, coulda, woulda, should have been, but the inner being is always important. The point that relationships can and do change, and that we learn strategies, and that's what we're learning. We're learning strategies on how to deal with a person when they're in their emotions. What are the emotions? Crying, angry, disappointed, frustrated, hurt. How do we deal with those? You're feeling good and the other person is hurting, and you're trying to make them feel good, and you found out that the things that you're doing to make them feel good is only making them feel bad. Because remember, we're dealing with inner self. Inner self is always good, and outcasts of our personalities, what people say we should be, how they shape us on what they want us to be, and how we think that we should be. So when we look at the positive things are our inner being, where we're always thinking good. We're always looking for the good in people as well as the good within ourselves. But nevertheless, sometimes there are some shaded areas in which people don't want to tell you about, but if you hang around with them long enough, you're going to find out who they really are and what they're really doing. The chaos, the confusion, the disappointment. Man, when we deal with our feelings, remember, we all have an inner self. The shell, the characteristics that make the stuff what people say we should be. Well, let's go back and try to recapture the inner us, the good part, the living positive, and forget defense mechanism. The defense mechanism what keeps people where we put that shell around it to say, "You hurt. I don't want to be like this, and I don't want to act like that." So we have to know. We have to know. And watch our words that we use on people. We always say, man, that person is disloyal. His disloyal to me. Well, listen. When you're talking about a person being disloyal, you're talking about that person always lie, that person always cheat, that person always steal, that person always thinking about themselves. So I know we learned a lot of stuff when we were coming up, but now we got to reprogram ourselves because we're throwing out some words out there and they're hurting the other person. Oh, you're disloyalty. Well, look, a person that disloyal, they don't pay attention to the rules. So if you're with someone and you're saying you're being disloyal, your disloyalty, well, that means that you're saying you cheat, you steal, you lie, and you ain't gonna change. So watch the words that you put on people. Watch what you say and watch what you do. Be conscious of your words. Remember, the inner you is always positive. It's that negative reinforcement that we allow people to put up on us. Well, this is Tuesday, August. Have a great day. And remember, practice your inner self, the positive things. Practice your words that you're going to say to someone. Think before you speak, think before you react. Once you say that word, you can't take it back. Have a great day. And remember, you can do that too.